Hello, we're gonna start the fifth mini mandala now, and it's gonna be inspired in this mandala. I made this mandala on a wood pebble, and I just wanted to show you a little bit the structure. Obviously, we're not gonna be able, most probably we're not gonna be really able to develop the whole structure. However, I wanted to have an observation about part of the structure, and we're gonna go as far as a mini disc of 5 centimeters of diameters will allow us. We will have a center dot. We will have really tiny dots on the first row, but and also on the second row, but right on the fourth row, we're gonna start creating this kind of star, as you can see here, and then from that on, we will be able to develop another spiral. We might start from the first row on this structure already. Okay, so this kind of structure will really need our full concentration, because one dot that is misplaced is gonna create a whole confusion in the structure. So let's start. In terms of tools, we might need a needle. I'm not sure. Let's see how it goes. A toothpick. I have these barbecue sticks that are different in size. As usual, this one has 0.2 millimeters of diameter, and this one has 0.4 millimeters of diameter. What else we might need for the center dot? The back side of a brush, and we're gonna need some other things. I will let you know right now. This is one of the MDF discs. I actually started using it, but eventually decided not to continue with this work, so I'm going to reuse it. If you have any material that you want to recycle, what I'm going to do is just to do this. Sorry, to move over. And I had a center dot already painted from another color, not exactly the colors that I plan to use, so I decided just to cover it in black. And obviously I will still have the mark of the previous dots, as you can see here, but no problem, because actually it's going to be helpful because I have already created the middle circle. But if you're working on a version 1 disc, I will let you know how to create again to find the center dots with our mold. If this is the first class you're seeing, go back to class number 3, in which I show how to create this mold for this MDF disc. Let's wait for it to dry out, and then we can move forward. Okay, we have this mold. Then the idea, as I said in other videos, this disc was supposed to be for a color, and I didn't pursue that project. So what I tried to do is just to align my paper mold with the edge. Let me show you, just like this, and also with this half of this hole here, and then I lift a little bit here, and I think even I had misplaced these center dots below, right? So this is my mid circle. And then I'm gonna take a green like this. It's like a leaf, the green of the leaves. And the first thing that I'm going to do, as always, is just to check the consistency of the paint. And look, this paint is really dry. I haven't used it for a while. It's not that liquid. It's not, for example, like Americana. If you're working with Americana, you have to use cornstarch. I will show also very soon how to deal with your paint when it is too liquid. In my case, this is very dry, so I'm again using the Pebeo pouring medium. As I said many times, I don't have sponsors. I'm just recommending things that I use and I like. There are other brands of pouring medium or flow medium. These chemicals are different, but they will get you this creamy consistency anyway. But it looks like, look, it's not that creamy, not yet. So we'll use more pouring medium, and then I will, oops, that was a little bit too much. But still, I'm gonna use this and then collect the excess and place it on a container. Okay, yeah, this was excessive, but it happens. Okay, well, I'm just gonna concentrate on this part. This is what I need. Now the paint became actually way too liquid. When this happens, what do? I didn't plan for it, but I'm gonna show right now. I'm just going to place all this paint here in a container. I didn't plan for it. It's funny. It's really funny that happened, but it's good to share all the experiences live here. Not only perfection, but also when we do make mistakes. It's important to show everything that might happen. Yeah, so even if you need to take with the finger, because I particularly don't like wasting paints. Yeah, so I cleaned this plate, and what we could do is just to place extra paint in the container. I'm gonna take as much paint as I can because it's really thick, as you can see. How to know the proportion of the paint and the pour medium? There's not a precise proportion. You just have to check that you can pick the paint like this and it doesn't drop that easily, and the consistency is pretty creamy. This is what matters. Okay, so having said that, what I'm going to do next is just to clean my painting area and then come back to the creation of this mini mandala with you. So I realized that this center dot that I had previously placed was misplaced. So what to do in those cases? I'm gonna just use the back side of a big brush. Look at the size of this big brush. It's really big. And what I'm gonna do is just to take this green color and I'm gonna deep dive into the paint, and then I'm going to pick lots of paint. Can you see? I have this peak of paint here, and then we do pressure against the surface, and then we get a bigger dot than the one that was previously placed there. If you're not happy, if you feel like, oh, it's not that it doesn't look like a perfect circle or so, you can always take a needle, make sure it is really clean, and then you can always fix this here in the very base. And if your paint got that peak like this and you don't like it, you can always dilute it with this movement as long as it is still wet. So let's move to the next step. I let it dry well and then we're gonna start creating the first line with the toothpick and with the pearl white color. And then I am just gonna pick really little paint and I'm gonna place a very tiny dot. I'm gonna show you just in a minute how small these dots are. And I am aware this is not very easy. We're going to need to create this north, south, east and west dots that are placed like this, like a cross, if you see, because to this to create this pattern we do need to make sure we have pair numbers on the first row. So right in the middle of, let's say, north and west, we're gonna make one tiny dot. Then right in the middle of these other two dots we place another dot right in the middle, and see how small these dots are. And this is a great opportunity again to keep improving your observation skills, keeping symmetry, and also the fine motor skills. Yeah, how we move our hand. And right in the middle of every two dots, we're gonna place another dot. And this is how we make sure the first row has a pair number of tiny dots around the big center dot. Take your time, don't rush. Just what matters in here at this moment is precision. Yeah. So look at how the center looks, how the first row looks. I'm gonna clean my tool, and then again I'm just gonna place another dot right in the middle. There's a space for just one dot. And again, this is a little bit not that easy, but the real secret is to keep your toothpick really clean, and also to load your tool, any tool you're using, a needle or so, just loading it with just very little paint. Yeah, otherwise it's gonna be very difficult to do this pattern. And there you go. This is how it looks like. Making it adjustments you consider necessary. Now we're gonna start the second row, and I'm going to show you in a second what we're going to do. But you're picking just a little bit more paint and right in the middle of two dots. You make a dot, but you skip one. See, I'm going to show you closer. So we pick some more paint, and right in the middle of two dots, we make an additional dot. But then we skip the next two dots, as you can see, and we place the other dot. We have to make sure we skip this one, and then we place the new dots here. We skip this one, and we just follow the pattern. And this is really, really important. You need to be really concentrated to do this. As I said in the introduction, otherwise it's not gonna look as desired. Yeah, so yeah, you place right in the middle the two dots. You adjust it if necessary. Just keep a set of two dots, and then you move forward. And it matched perfectly here. See how it looks? Yeah. Now we're going to fill the gaps with another color. And what I want to do is to create a shading of colors. So we're now going to be moving from the white pearl color, as you can see here. And we're just going to add a little bit of the beautiful green color. We don't need to prepare a lot of mixture. We cannot mixture. It's not necessary. We're gonna have leftovers. That's not the idea. Mix it up till it's smooth. And also have a look at the consistency of your paint. Check it is creamy. If it isn't, you know what to do already, right? But in this case, I think it's creamy. I like, gathering all the paint together, because then I can deepen the tool and pick up and load more paint. See? Yes. And then once I'm done with this step, then I just pick my disc where I left it, and I'm just going to fill the gaps, but I have to be careful. I'm gonna show you closer now, because it cannot be just filling for filling the gap. I have to place these tiny dots right in the middle of the two dots of the previous line. It is just not just filling the gap. We have to have that intelligence. It has to be right in the middle. And I think something that is difficult, and I confess that I still have to work on that, is to getting all these dots right, same size. For example, the first dot that I did was bigger, but it's okay. It's not going to jeopardize the beauty of this structure. I'm going to show you closer. See? Yeah. Now we're going to, for the third row, we're going to continue with this same color. It's a light green. And again, right in the middle of two dots from the second row, we're gonna place these tiny dots. And we're gonna keep doing this with the same color. And look how beautiful it looks. And I think even if I had these dots that is really big, you know, I found out a way to adjust on this third row. So for the fourth row, we have to really think about this, because now we're gonna find these two dots and these white, pearl white in the middle, and we're gonna keep working with the same color, but I have to place the dot, let's say, where these white dots align with the white dots. I'm going to show you closer. We're gonna come back to skipping two dots, as you can see here, but it's not that I'm gonna skip anywhere. This dot has to be aligned with whereas I set the white dot on the second row. It has to make sense. Then this is how the star we're working on will appear. And I'm going to show you closer once again. See, once you have found where to the right place to find that dot, then you just keep skipping two dots, the middle of two dots from the previous row. Let's think of these dots that I'm making like a peak of a star. See, we're gonna have this set of two tiny dots. Can you see it's now to really make the difference, we're going to fill the gaps with a darker color. But I have to be careful because this paint is a little bit too wet. And when the paint is a little bit too wet, there's a risk that two dots blend together. So when I'm filling the gap, I also have to be careful with the amount of paint that I am loading in my tool and how much pressure I am applying against the surface. If there are mistakes, there's no problem because again, I'm as always going to show you how to fix that up. Placing these dots is not easy, okay? And it's okay if you have gaps of space because the center is expanding. See? Now for the fourth row, the fifth row, I think. For the next row, we're going to just set a dot of this green color in the middle of every two dots from the previous row. Yeah, we do have to be very careful. See what is happening. Some dots have blended together. I'm going to show you how to fix that. First, I maybe should place some corn starch here to make it a little bit more creamy. But I also want to show you how to deal with this situation. When you place one dot along the other, and the paint is so liquid that the dots just, mixed up. So yeah, I think it's important to complete this row with the same color, and then we can see all the mistakes and fix them all at once. And then let's see these two, they are not nice. So what I'm going to do is to take them out, but from the center to the outer part of the disc. I do not press toward the center because otherwise I can destroy the other work that is ready. And also here, these two dots, these are not nice. Yeah, I'm just going to take this texture, and it's better to do this when the paint is fresh. And yeah, one way to avoid this is actually making the consistency of this paint much more creamy, either with cornstarch or any chemical. Liquitex has some chemicals just to make a liquid paint very creamy. Now I'm gonna take just a brush and the black color, and very carefully I am just going to paint with this color. Okay, and you don't have to put a lot of paint in your brush. It has to be really little paint because then it takes less time to dry out. Yeah, so yeah, we do this. Very carefully. Yeah, and I think even if it is not 100% dried out, I can still place some dots. But I have to be really careful this time because I cannot be making same mistake over and over again. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, my strategy, is just to even pick less paint that I was picking up or loading my tool with, and even being extra careful when placing the dots. And I have to be ready because the next row, it's also going to require my attention. I have to place the dots on the right place. So yes, it looks, to make this look like a star, again I have to let me just adjust a little bit this tiny dot here that isn't right. Yeah, be aware that I have been using same tool all the time. Okay, where to place the next dots? It has to be aligned with the white pearl dot with the light green. Yeah. But look, again, I think this, yeah, I have to be extra careful. And now I'm thinking that I have to be really, cautious, of course. And I have to place these dots a little bit further, not that close to this last row of dots. So yes, I'm gonna be picking more paint, but I'm going to be placing the dots in the middle of two dots, but not in any middle of two dots. It has to be exactly where aligned with the pearl white color and also with the green light color. And this is how I'm going to be getting this shape of star. Can you see the star shape done with this green color? And it's like a star inside a star. Inside this green leaf star, I have a light green star, and inside the light green star, I have a white pearl star. It's really amazing how geometry works out. It's just incredible. And now we're going to dramatically change to color. We're going to be working with orange. I decided to switch this color because I think it's gonna make a very interesting contrast. And I think from now on, the star shape that I'm looking for, it's gonna be easier to spot. So I'm just filling the gap. Again, being extra careful. I have to try to keep same distance from the dots. The dots have to also be same size. And yeah, the good thing is the consistency of this paint is much more creamy. It's creamier, maybe, than the previous paint we were using that was really liquid. But again, it was good to show you mistakes, how to fix them, even if you're familiar with the subject. I think it's good to see how others deal with the issues. Okay, now I think it's more noticeable the stars that I've been talking about here. And for the next row, I'm using same tool. Can you see it's the toothpick? But how can I make different sizes of dots? Again, because of the amount of paint that I load in my tool. And once again, you have to have noticed that there is one line same color, the another line in which we have two colors, and we have the same situation here. Can you see here the petal or the star here? Yeah, now after we have a row with the same color, we're gonna have a row with two colors. I'm picking orange and I am just placing the dots aligned with the green leaf dots, with the light green dots, and with the white pearl. Yeah, this is where another peak of star is going to be. And then you can see it's like a game. It's really nice completing this, and this is how the star, when the star really is noticed. Let's continue placing the dots. And just to reinforce the idea, when we have this row in which we have two colors, what matters is just making the first dots on the right place, and then you don't have to you just skip the middle of the next two dots. I think it's easier to explain in here where the dots are bigger. And see how beautiful it looks. Now I'm gonna take another color. It's a sort of pink or fuchsia color, and let's see the consistency again. It's a little bit too thick to my taste, so again I'm going to go for the creamy consistency I look for. And then I'm gonna pick up some yeah, I have to be careful. Yes, because I don't want the same situation to happen to me. Remember what happened with the green color. That was not nice. Okay, I'm gonna clean the tool now. And then we're going to fill up the gaps with this fuchsia color or dark pink color if you like. And notice that I am not placing these dots really close. I'm keeping some distance. That's pretty critical and important here. And for the last row, we can always pick the back side of a brush. And I'm just gonna place one dot in the middle of two dots, not too close. I'm gonna skip the middle of two dots. This is where the hole is. Yeah, I'm skipping that space and I am placing another dot here. I'm skipping one. Yeah, it's gonna be a gap. There's gonna be a gap in the middle. Do remember that these colors are also suggestions. Okay, yeah, I don't want to leave it like this in the middle. In the gap, we can fill the gap with smaller dots. I'm loading lots of paint, but to create a dot that is bigger than the dots of the previous row, but smaller than the bigger dots that I just made. Yeah, we are all caught up for now. I hope you have enjoyed this class, and let's get ready for the next mini mandala.